morning. Today is the 31st of December and it's time for yet another very vague, not particularly interesting and probably quite boring vlog. Maybe it's actually not as vague as usual though today, although I am driving a 1998 Vauxhall Vectra, so possibly that might stir some feelings amongst some of you. It's not bad actually, it's a V6 Vectra, so it's a bit better than most of the other ones. But I'm not here to talk about Vauxhall, I'm here to talk about SsangYong. And as a SsangYong owner, we've had our 2019 SsangYong Tivoli for 2.5 years now actually, and over 24,000 miles. So this is coming from the perspective of somebody who actually owns a SsangYong rather than somebody just sitting on the sidelines and kind of sort of observing. We're actually within the ownership process, and it has been generally a very good ownership process. The biggest issue with the car is sometimes people's perception of it. You don't know what it is, or you've just read a few articles that say SsangYong's going bust and they're not coming back and all this sort of stuff. Well, SsangYong did file for receivership at the end of 2020, and the debts were quite bad. It wasn't great really. Not a great situation to be in. Not great for the partners abroad who sell SsangYong cars, trucks, and not good for the company itself. Mahindra bought the company in 2010, and they were actually the owners until a couple of months ago. The company was planned to be acquired by a Korean bus and truck manufacturer called Edison Motor, I forget the exact name of it, at some point last year. But what happened is, although the court actually approved the takeover, they didn't ever pay the money to actually finalise the deal. So in March 2022, they cancelled the proposed merger between, or takeover I should say, takeover of SsangYong by Edison. So obviously us as owners in this country and elsewhere, back to square one really in terms of knowing what's happening. Basildon Automotive, who are the UK distributor for SsangYong, though were operating as normal. I mean, they have been selling cars in this country for some time, and although SsangYong sales aren't massive, we've actually expanded the dealership network a little bit. There was a new dealership that opened quite near us recently, for example. A new buyer though was found for the company, and I'm pleased to say that by the end of October 2022, so just a couple of months ago, the company was bought by a Korean chaebol that's similar to Samsung in the sense they got their fingers in many pies, lots and lots of different interests like steel and chemicals and things like that, called the KG Group. The KG Group paid around $700 million. I can't remember how much that is in pounds or won, but about $100 million for SsangYong. They actually plan to rename the company. They want to call it KG. I think also like KG Mobility. Excuse me. Just fighting off this winter cold at the moment. So yeah, by March 2023, I don't know how true this is. I only just read this in one source, but SsangYong is going to be renamed. Now, what this actually means for the cars we're going to get over here, I don't really know. I assume that with KG Group being in charge, they want to unify their corporate branding. Apparently SsangYong's got a really bad reputation in many parts of the world, and unfortunately, yeah, I think they do. I think that's one of the main issues, is that they've had so many issues for quite a long time that people don't really take them seriously anymore. certainly, you know, the people in the industry that I know, when they see the SsangYong, they're either intrigued by it or they just think it's terrible just because it's a SsangYong. And I'm pleased to tell you that it's not terrible. We have had some issues with it, but it's not terrible. And you know, we're going to keep it for as long as possible. I'll have to have a word with people who run SsangYong UK and just see what's going on maybe at some point, and see what actually the plans are, if they're able to tell me. Obviously they might not be. So it's actually a better situation for people who own SsangYongs around the world, or what will be known as something else soon, but are currently known as SsangYongs, than it has been for probably a couple of years. See, the receivership started 2 years ago. It's completely over now. They've paid the money for the company, and they're going to be, like everyone else in the world, going to be moving it towards electric cars. Now, SsangYong's traditional market has been people who like solid off-roader type vehicles, as Tivoli is available with two-wheel drive as is for Corando. But everything else pretty much they've sold for a long time. Excluding the Turismo or the Rexton, has basically been four-wheel drive, and then everything else is an option to be four-wheel drive. So they're sort of specialists. It's a bit like a sort of Korean Land Rover firm, but they don't cost as much money, and they come with a far better warranty and a much better reputation for reliability. I think that's the way I would see it with SsangYong. And you know, I'm very open at the moment, so when we ever do replace our Tivoli, which won't be for probably at least another 2.5 years, to getting something else, either with a SsangYong badge on it or this new KG badge they want. The problem is that with that, they're going to have to not only tell people that KG is the new name for SsangYong, but they're going to have to actually educate people on who SsangYong actually were, if that makes sense, and why they've even had to change the name. That's going to be the biggest problem with them. And if they're moving into new markets, you know, with these new electric ones, the electric car customers are very different from people who buy traditional big, heavy 4x4s and things like that. And you find far more SsangYongs out in the countryside than you do in cities, for example. The dealer networks are very much heavily biased towards people in the country, and I totally understand that. One of the things I like about SsangYong is that reputation for, you know, you go out and you know, you can explore a bit. See, it's front-wheel drive Tivoli's not going to get you that far, although the official wading depth on that car, I think it's about 25mm, and I've taken it through in 37mm wading, and that was absolutely fine. So that was one of the benefits of having that, even if, you know, there's not much else to it than that. But I'm really pleased that SsangYong is actually on what I think is quite a firm foundation now, and I'm hoping that they will continue to be so, and whatever name they do decide to have for many years to come. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching this rather vague and not very interesting vlog. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again very soon for more inaccurate musing. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below.